Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. We've got a great show. One of the nicest, best shows of the year. We're getting near the holidays. Salvation Army, the red buckets. You hear that bell? Drop some money in the little red buckets, okay? But my guest today, and I'm very proud to say that I live in Norristown. I'm a taxpayer, and I'm proud to say that I help pay their wages. We have the president and the vice president of the Northtown Council. There's a big word, municipality. Used to be borough, but now it's municipality. I can't spell that. I think it mixed up there. But I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about Norristown. We want to talk about the county seat of Norristown. We are on the move. We had a roundtable discussion with all top people in the area, and the Times Herald's been very helpful. Stan Husky as with moderator, and we just were dropping seeds, and we're going to have more roundtable discussions. So I asked the president and vice president to come on my show. So in a happy time of Christmas coming, tell them who you are.
I am Sonia Sanders. I am the president of the municipality. I am serving my second year in my first term, so I have 2 years remaining.
Okay. And you're going to be there. Now, here we are.
I am Vice President Derek Perry of Norristown. I'm a council at large rep.
Okay. Now, what's on the front burner? Tell me, what are we going to do about Norristown?
What do we do about Norristown? We are going to revitalize Norristown. We
Good.
want the look and feel the way that Norristown used to look on the downtown Main Street. So currently, we have a couple developers interested in some property down Main Street. We have the Saints Distillery coming, which will
Right.
also be a place that makes bourbon, and also the second floor will be an Italian restaurant
Italian restaurant?
on the second floor.
Hey, goodbye, easy was snotty. Oh, them meatballs over here, baby. All right.
And we also have
That's
some
what we need.
condos and
We got a
condos as well.
Mexican restaurant. We got a Italian restaurant. We got Asian restaurant. You know, we got a Greek restaurant. So we're on the move. And
We
we got
are
one
on
from
the move.
Ethiopia down
Yes,
on
we
Main
do.
Street.
Yes,
I went
we
down
do.
there. You know, Ethiopia was so, you know, they locked horns with the Italians years ago. And I asked if they had any spaghetti. Yeah. It's a good place. We have some good restaurants in Northtown. Try it. Go ahead.
Anything, Councilman Perry, you would like to add?
Just we're a very diverse community, and we hear what you're saying. Sorry, we're a very
My
diverse.
hearing aid, you know, I got a geek, geek. Go ahead.
We're a very diverse community, so we understand what you say in regards to that. We're more or less looking to hopefully not only do the revitalization for economic development downtown, but also bring some things inside of Norristown for the children to do of Norristown also, which we so much need. I know when I was younger, we used to have a lot of things here.
Tell me something about yourself.
Tell you about
tell
me?
me something about yourself. You didn't say you were younger. Were you younger?
When
Yeah,
I
so
was
I.
when I was
did
young,
too.
when I was young and Norristown was booming like it was, we used to have the YWCA. We used to have the YMCA.
Bowling alleys.
We used to have the Salvation Army here. We used to have Chuck E. Cheese and all these things that we did as kids, but we no longer have that.
Yeah.
And it hurts, it hurts both of us to come in here and see that we no longer have that anymore. So we've been working on some things that hopefully will be coming to fruition soon, and go from there.
I think you, Councilman, when you have something that you're going to try to develop, call the newspaper. Let them put it in the paper. Let the people know what's going on.
Absolutely.
An informed nation is a peaceful nation. Keep the people informed, and that, because right now it's say, oh, well, a council meeting, nobody goes to council meetings at all.
Right.
So let your offense be your defense.
Well, one of the
And
things,
I know that you're all working together down there, and that's a good thing. I remember when I was a policeman, there was 12 councilmen. I mean, they had boxing gloves and, and everything, and they were fighting and everything, So it'd be nice that, I don't want 7 councilmen thinking alike, talking alike, then 6 of them unnecessary. So, Vice President say, hey, President, wait a minute, I think we got to talk this over a little bit. That's what we need. We need that, with the diversity, the beautiful, like up on Marshall Street. Go ahead, tell me.
So in regards to our current council, we actually have a diverse group, and we are more of a team. We have been told in the past that this is one of the councils that actually do get along, that actually
Yes,
work well
right,
together. And
right.
we've been complimented on the work that we do and that we do function as a team.
Good.
So for us, that's a benefit, and that's something positive, and that's something we carry forward
All right.
to represent Norristown.
Now, you all went down to Washington. Tell me about the Washington. Who picked up the tab? Forget about it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know, I was a good friend of Mayor Rizzo. Every time we go, he say, "You going to have lunch?" "Yeah." "Who picked up the tab?" He's always worrying about who's picking up the tab.
That's a funny
Now, tell me something about. It's an honor for Norristown to get down there to meet the President of the United States. Come on, did you get any money
So-
off him?
No, we didn't get any money, but we did gain some valuable information in regards to what type of grants Norristown can benefit from.
That's it.
In regards to parks, in regards to infrastructure. We found out there were ways to actually gain money, to get money, and again, that was based off of a lot of grants and information we weren't aware of that Norristown could potentially benefit from.
That's it.
So going forward, we actually look to utilize some of those resources that were mentioned to
Great.
help revitalize Norristown.
Okay. Like, give me an example of something you think maybe that is going to move on, that we can. I know we're building that road, or it's coming up down Lafayette Street. That's going to be
So we have
helpful,
he's talking about the turnpike.
right?
Turnpike, yes.
What was that?
The Turnpike probably's been in existence to try to get done for probably maybe 20, 25 years now.
Oh yeah.
Definitely glad that it's finally coming to fruition. And there's a lot of developers that's actually interested in the waterfront, which is very huge for us. So we're just waiting as council people for our team to make sure that they do their homework, so we make
Get
sure we're
everything
making
right.
the right decisions and the right development to come here in Norristown. And when we do that, we want to see you dance again.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I remember my father had a shoemaker shop on the corner of Main and DeKalb, and people used to bring their shoes there from Collegeville on the bus, the last bus out. They leave the shoes there 1 week and come back and get them fixed and pick them up the next week. Conshohocken people, same thing. Now we have Collegeville is like unbelievable
Yes.
growth.
Yes.
Conshohocken growth.
Yes.
You know, Ambler
Yes.
growth.
Yes.
And here we are, and I'm sure with your leadership, we can move. We can move. We got all the material. We got everything. Let's start. Boom, boom. Okay.
Understood. Understood. We are, what folks don't realize in government is that projects take a long time to develop. So in regards to your Conshohocken, that was years in planning. Ambler was years in planning. But Norristown, again, it's on the rise, and we're slowly but surely getting there.
Yeah.
And we're, with the current body of council, we're hoping to make the transition go much quicker and much smoother.
Well, you know, Norristown, we had 5 movie theaters when I was a kid, right? I had the Grand, the Garrick, the Westmar, the Nars, and the Towers. The Towers down Main and Arch Street.
Yes.
You know,
Remember
that was that used to be 5 cents, right? No, it was 15 cents to get in on a Saturday, and then they had a follow-up movie. You know, they end and say what's going to happen next week or so, and then they used to give you a bar of candy, you know, and that was called. First, it was called the Gloria, and then it was the Towers, and then they called the Stinks. So why did they call it the Stinks? Because the kids would stay there for the second. They wouldn't leave to go to the toilet. They go to the toilet, somebody would take their seat. So they used to tinkle on the seats, and the place stunk, and they called it and that's true, you know. But you know, everything's worked out. Now it's a Mexican restaurant, you know. But it was so good that we had Norristown. We had the Valley Forge Hotel. Don't forget, we were the gateway to Valley Forge. We were the gateway to Valley Forge. You know, there was nothing before. And they had, I think, Upper Merion. I think they had one chief of police over there, and then he was a part-time. You know, and now look what you got over there. So with your leadership, I'm the ambassador. I'm the cheerleader. You know, I go bop 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 bop. You know, but all right now, what else? else, what is something that, now, you are president, right?
Yes.
And everybody says, boy, when they see something, boy, if I was a cop, I would do this. If I was that. You are the president now.
Yes.
What are some of the things you'd like to see happen?
Some of the things that I like to see happen in Norristown is I would like to see the youth have some sort of employment. And some of the ways that we can have youth as an employment is either building a Boys and Girls Club or building a fun center where the youths can be employed and at the same time have something to do.
Good. All right. How about the theater? Let's talk about the theater. You know, the theater brings in different clientele of people. You know, there's a certain crowd for football, wrestling crowd. You know, automobile different crowds. But the theater brings in people that they want to eat before the theater and they want to eat maybe after the theater. And that's one. I'm so happy. In fact, the director of this show, John Doyle, is very active in that theater.
Yes, he
bit,
is.
you know. And I think that, and you were supporting the theaters in Norristown. We have the Horizon and also
Absolutely.
the Center Theater. And I think that's very important. And how about the schools? What do you think of the school? We had Dr. Samuel on the panel. What do you think of that panel we had there, the Roundtable Panel?
I thought the panel was a great choice and a great decision to be held by the Norristown leaders to be on the panel. I felt like it informed the community in regards to what each organization in Norristown were doing and how each organization works together. And ultimately, everyone wants to succeed and see Norristown thrive. So everyone had Norristown's best interest, and the unison was, we want to be unity. So if we could develop the unity and of all the organizations collaborating together, that would be an awesome thing for Norristown.
What do you think of what Colwell said? He said that West Marshall Street is doing good because people in the neighborhood go there and shop. So Main Street, nobody lives on Main Street, but people come from all over to shop. What's he talking about? I don't know.
I don't know.
We can't.
Check him out. I mean,
We can't think for anyone else. All we know is what we're trying to
no,
do.
but I mean, no, I walked the beat in Norristown, and I know that people come to Norristown. They don't have to live in that one street where the Main Street. You talk about getting a restaurant coming in. We got a distillery. You got all these different things.
Right.
Soon as somebody catches on and say, "Hey, I'm going to invest." Look at down in Philadelphia, down around South Street. That was awful. It was falling apart. Nobody. All of a sudden,
Exactly.
Now.
some developer went in there and fixed it up. Now it's Society Hill.
Yes.
Oh, you got to pay like $350,000 for
For a house
for
now.
a house down there.
Exactly.
So we can do it.
We can,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I like the way you're doing it. You want to get in there and get a good, all body punches, you know.
Just
Hit
a
the
little
left
bit.
of the stomach and the right to the head, you know. Keep punching, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me now, did you play any sports?
I did. I was a big basketball player here
Where?
at Norristown High School,
You
right
played here?
I was here. I was one of the stars here. I'm very quiet about it.
You're a laid back kind of guy, you know.
I
He was
was
inducted last week.
I was just inducted in the Hall of Champions last week.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I was on there last year, the year before, I think I got, because of boxing or something, you know. Yeah, so we're Hall of Famers, right?
I am.
You two are.
We are.
We are. So, all right, now, I see the first thing you were talking about is about the youth,
Yes.
you know. What are some of the things you think we could do? No, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't rehearse this. So any question I ask is coming from outer space, okay? Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of things that we could do. Currently, I can actually say this, and people think that we sit in these seats and we're not doing anything. One thing about me and how I think is people are tired of hearing elected officials, politicians talk. It's time to walk the walk. So one of the things I have been doing over the past year is I've been speaking to a CEO of the Boys and Girls Club to come to Norristown. And what we've been doing is trying to get all this information together. It's only in the preliminary stages of what we're looking for right now, but when it's time to bring it to the forefront, I will bring it to the forefront. We just recently, maybe about 3 weeks ago, we went to a company which is called Play World, which builds playgrounds in all of the playgrounds. So we're not just sitting in these seats and thinking that we're going to be proactive than anything else.
Right.
We're going to go try to find the people to come. We're talking to people. We're sending our cards out. We don't want to sit here. We're making a conscious effort to try to build Norristown up again.
And diversity, we got quite a Hispanics in Norristown, and that's one thing we get together. When I was a policeman in Norristown, you had to live in Norristown. Here was 55, 60 police officers. We bumped into each other,
Right.
We worshiped here, we shopped here, the kids went to school here.
Right.
So now none of the police, hardly any police, I don't know if any police would live in Norristown.
Right.
All out of town, Well,
I think
that's
there's a few.
beautiful. But I'd like to see them live in Norristown. And I think now, I mentioned something to somebody, and I think it was you that mentioned, or I mentioned, Stan mentioned about there's a couple towns out west where a policeman gets in and gets a tax break.
Yeah.
And you said that you'd have to give it to everybody. Well, I don't know. I don't think. I think, now, I was talking to, now I don't know if this is true or not, but get back to me, here's my check with me. Mathacan, a lady, there's a teacher, said that if they live in Mathacan area, the teacher gets a tax break. Okay. So I would be only too happy to have a policeman pay less tax so he lives here and protects me, I think. And I think that could be arranged. And I talked to another police officer. He says the city, I don't know what city in Pennsylvania, they have a house that a policeman can move in, don't cost him anything. He don't have to buy it, he's there. They call the policeman's house. So he has his family there. He works there. He pays his rent, he pays his taxes, everything. So we need some protection in town. The people would feel more, we don't have a walking beat anymore. I mean, I know the chief of police is doing advanced things and all, but there's nothing like walking the beat. Hello, how you doing?
Actually, I would have to correct you on that.
Even in daytime.
They actually do walk the beats.
Yes,
They do?
Yes, they do.
They actually knock on residents' doors. They introduce themselves.
Yes.
They have a way of making the residents feel safer and
Good.
comfortable about approaching them now.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
So one of the things that I know I always say this to Sonia in regards to things is that we can follow the blueprint of another town and exactly what they do. It's just for us to get the information, bring it to the team so they can look all of the information over.
Sure.
Now, one of the things that you were saying, and I probably disagree, is our police chief is from Reading. He's not from here. I appreciate him. I think we have the best police chief in Pennsylvania, just in regards to him and how he does the policing in Norristown. We needed a change.
Yeah.
And the change has finally come to where people are starting to look and say, hey, we want to come to Norristown. We want to live in Norristown. We want to play in Norristown. We want to work in Norristown. So we're starting to change that stereotype that Norristown always has had. Crandall Jones has been a big, intricate part of changing Norristown around. The police chief, Mark Talbot, has been an intricate part of changing Norristown around. We got our code director, which no one has met him yet. His name is Michael Simonson. He has a plan to change Norristown around, and that's what we need. We're tired. I know, being in this for 2 years now, is that people are tired of the same old thing. We can talk all we want. We can say, oh, you know what, I'll come in here, I'll change the world, but people are tired of that. We want the old school politics to be gone, bring in the new regime, let's start moving Norristown forward and go from there.
Yeah. Well, I would say, I would encourage more people, more policemen to live in town if they can somehow. I
Absolutely.
don't know how to work it.
There's a
and
way to work
also, I think they should have Hispanic police officers. I don't mean somebody that can speak Spanish. I mean somebody, I know myself, when I was a policeman and down the East End was a lot of Italians, there was an argument, fight or anything, and I'd walk in there, hey, compadre, and I'd talk a little Italian, oh, everybody quiets down, you know? So, you know, just like when I went to juvenile division, I had an Italian, I had an Afro-American, you know, and whoever's a problem over there, send the guy over here, you know? And I was like a grandfather to them. I don't want to talk Cisco, he's an old man. So I'd send the young guy down there, some Bambi or Pennington or something, you know? So that's what you got. We got, the chief, I had him on my show. He was only on maybe 6 months or not even that maybe. And he's sharp, you know?
Sorry.
But let's not forget about the past, you know?
Right.
I had safety patrols in the schools, teaching kids safety at an early age, bicycle inspection. You run your bicycle the proper way, inspection, keep to the right, stop at stop signs. You're training somebody when he gets to drive a car.
Right.
You know, and I would have police officers go into the nursing homes. Hello, everybody, how you doing? They feel, because they sit here, visit some of these, I go into the nursing homes a lot, and they sit there. Be nice to see a uniformed police officer. Hello, how you doing? You know, you don't have to go around shaking hands with anybody or anything, but, you know, let your offense be your defense. Be out there, be seen.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
One of the things that Chief has implemented or is out there now currently of what we're doing is called Coffee with a Cop, where they're going around to different shops.
Right.
So he's definitely engaging into the community, and we appreciate that at the end of the day.
All right, now we got a question from the audience out there in the balcony. Now read it out and see what the situation is, what that question is from.
How are we serving the growing Hispanic community?
Yeah. How? What are you doing?
So I know in place there are, as you mentioned, Norristown Rising had the leaders at the table where they presented all of the
At the round
programs that
table.
correct. Where they presented all of the programs that they're having. They have, what is it? Acclamo?
Acclamo.
And there was another gentleman who had various
He's
types.
a teacher at community college.
Yes.
Sharp.
He, very, very sharp. And he had listed a broad amount of programs, which I wasn't aware of, that actually served the Hispanic community. So everyone has embraced the diversity, and everyone is looking for the change to make everyone feel comfortable in regards to diversity.
Right. All right, we got another one here. Read it out loud.
What are the most exciting things in Norristown's future?
You mentioned a couple things.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll say is that I know I was clueless to what a council person was. And so when I got into it, it opened up my eyes and got very intriguing really, really fast. I think since me and Sonia have gotten into council, I think the community has become engaged and involved a lot more in trying to do, whether it be walks, whether we do a community events, like we have a softball game for fathers.
That's it.
We have
Good unity.
yeah, the unity has finally come together, and I can say that it'll keep going. You know, we have people starting to get engaged in council. We have the Citizens Leadership Class Academy, which makes everyone come in and learn about the government. We're hoping that we can do one. I'm hoping one day we can do one for the students. I think we need to make the youth understand for their future that they should be involved in stuff like this, because it affects our everyday life. We need to educate the kids on voting. I think we need to educate the people who have been in the dumps about what council is about and what the mayor has been about, that there's no longer that stereotype anymore. We want to change. And the only way we're going to change is, okay, so we have about 16 or 17,000 voters that we have in Norristown. But only 3,000 to 5,000 of voters go out every year.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if people knew, if we got at least, I'm not even going to say 17, but if we got at least 8,000 voters to come out, people will start paying attention to us.
Right.
You know, a little bit more than what they do now. But the change start with us first through these council seats. And so we're going to be the movement that's going to make Norristown finally move forward.
Like, you know, Norristown was, they say, all the good old days, we had everything, you know. But we didn't have everything. There was a lot of prejudice, bigots, you know. And being Italian, I mentioned that at there, but I got cut off. When somebody says things change, and that's when I jumped up and I says, I want to tell you some of the changes. That I only lived a block away from St. Patrick's Church, but I couldn't go to St. Patrick's Church or school because I was Italian, okay? So then the Irish girl was sitting in the audience. She said, yeah, and the Irish couldn't go to Holy Savior. So there was, now you find everything. You know, St. Patrick's, one of the best football players. Afro-American guy was one of the best in an Irish parish, you know. So we have to get unity, people to get to like each other. And now the things change. It changed to the point that the Irish church has an Italian pastor, you know. So you see the change. So now, all right, now I got 30 seconds. Tell me what you're going to do for Norristown.
What I'm going to do for Norristown would be what my council peers and I would do for Norristown is to turn Norristown around and let everyone know that Norristown is headed for progression, progress, and Norristown is going to be exciting and booming.
I believe you. Hit it.
We're Norristown. We have to take pride in what we do here. I think for a long time we were rising and we could have kept on rising, and then we fell. And that's by the leadership that used to be here. We have new leadership and we're ready to move forward. We're going to keep on moving and keep on thriving for this town.
Good. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home. And I would like to have maybe a monthly get-together where the council people come here and let the people know what's going on. This show is covered by Comcast and Verizon, and it covers a good bit of Montgomery County. And a lot of people come on and say, "Oh, I see your show." So that's good. They see me, but I want you to hear what some of these people have to say. And so I'm so happy that the council's working together, fighting together, fighting together, right?
Exactly.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to come in, and may God bless each and every one. And as they say in adios amigos, I guess, hey gumbadi, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
All right.
Appreciate it.
So, all Norristown, we're from Norristown.